some more like if you went to school, they have church, they have mass or whatever it is. Yeah. And they have.
I'm sorry. I'm actually not opposed to them learning about the Bible when it comes to like law, because I feel like that can be very helpful when looking up like the holes in some of these laws that we do have that have been heavily influenced by Christianity or the Bible. And we're supposed to be a nation that separates church and state. So I feel like taking that type of class would be helpful for a lot of lawyers or lawmakers, because then they can be more critical about certain laws that are influenced by religion and how they might affect people of other religions. Like, I don't see how everything has to immediately be a bad thing or immediately be indoctrination.
Yeah, if you want to teach a course about, religion and its influence on constitutional law, I think that's a different issue than your law school centering Christianity as a way of teaching its lawyers how to go out in the world essentially and challenge or rephrase, be litigators.
All you're saying is you don't like it. You can't imagine its benefit, and that's just going to be a failure of your own. Like, did you even attempt to investigate why somebody would use that approach? Have you attempted to investigate what the outcomes have been for those who have been trained prior and have entered into the legal field and as professionals? Have you bothered? No, obviously. So this is just a superficial assessment.
Get it up.
Doesn't
Get it up.
fit.
Go ahead. Superficial. There you go. You did it.
And this is just this is like white supremacist behavior. But
Yeah.
I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you don't recognize it, right?
Yeah.
That you're doing the same shit that your white supremacists do to you on a regular basis, and you haven't even beat them before you try to beat me, right? Beat them. Niggas sitting on your neck. And
did you listen to what he said?
Anyway.
Did you listen to what he said though, Asphalt? Because he said that
you're interrupting again, Tiana. Can you stop?
Please. He wasn't interrupted. She waited for a pause in the conversation.
Literally, yeah.
How does that mean it's not an interruption?
It's not an interruption. No one was speaking. What are you doing?
It's interrupting my fucking submission if she waited for a pause. The hell?
Exactly.
Not Gemini. Damn, you done fell for the
conversation.
Yeah, bro. So you didn't see the
And I don't know, like yesterday and today we did have a good room. Like I enjoyed the conversation again. Yeah. I miss it sometimes.
Yeah, it's a nice milieu. That's the thing is, it is the cornucopia. It is the milieu that is of the highest value. And I think, even though my recordings are really stupid, like super low quality, no one will ever want to waste their time recording it. If I had to scale or basically analyze all the rooms I, record, you bring together a good milieu, really top notch. So what that means is you're an organizer.
I am an organizer. I don't think I am like a conversation driver. I like to participate, but not to drive the conversation, but I like to put the people together.
Yeah, it's,
And to be a bossy one. Like, almost like a sort of organizing.
You want to hear a funny story? I went to this country club one time in Brentwood to go to this Jewish event, and I meet this other nice young Jewish guy, and he, you know what he says to me? He says, John, this may sound kind of weird, but, dude, you're like a normal human. You're a normal man. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, I don't understand. He goes, well, I go to these Jewish events a lot, and I meet, tons of faggots. He just, started laughing. I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. That was
in
when
Chicago?
No, this was in LA. I don't think culture has, shifted. It's probably always been an index like this, but, even that girl, Paradise, or whatever her name was, and Caleb, everybody has their weird little quirks and issues where it's how is everybody accusing Charlie Kirk of being the devil?
It's like, show me one link. No one's ever posted anything. I've never seen Charlie Kirk say anything that is vulgar, racist, mean, crude, nothing. So it's like, so it's just like, it's the craziest. So, anyways, I think it's all just projection, but honestly, I think people project a lot. You know, Charlie Kirk is that receiver.
And they're just parrots, you know, like they just want to participate in a conversation and not even having known anything about this guy. You heard a couple of people like, I love Marvin. I really like him. But he just said that he didn't know Charlie Kirk until he heard about his assassination. And yet he's there in the room making, judgments about who he was as a human being. It's like, well, you can say whatever you want and you can have your own opinions. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't have an opinion, but I'm not going to believe your opinion because you really didn't know the guy, you know?
You know, you've traveled the world a lot, and it doesn't matter where you go, you're going to meet vulgar, crude, angry, miserable people. And you may be lucky enough to meet intelligent, classy people, you know, where they have the finer qualities of a person and less of the crude qualities. So all this racial identity politics is just a form of low IQ communication, because it's really just political in nature, you know, because the moment you cross that threshold and you go into violence, that's where freedom of speech is irrelevant. You've now violated the law. And this even goes back to October 7th, or any of these debates. You know, you can say the N-word as much as you want. That's not punching somebody in the nose. Punching somebody in the nose is way worse than saying the N-word.
Exactly. Because you are violating someone's agencies. And I am not saying that it's beautiful or that the N-word should be gone and said anytime, you know, like, I mean, but you choose to do that. Now, people judge, let society judge how they relate to you, because if you go around being a nasty person, nobody's gonna like you. So that is what prevents you from using the N-word. It shouldn't be because you're gonna get punched in the face, but it should be because there is a social price, you know, and yeah, if you do nasty things, people are not gonna want to be your friend. That's it.
Well, it's also intelligence. Like T-Rob, he says the N-word every seventh word, where it's a Tourette glitch, and it's still doing that. That's what I understand. Like, you are your words, so use your good words. Why would you want to use all these negative words? You know, a lot of it is time, because, you know, and you realize there's a lot of things I'd like to say, but you realize that for the sake of time, and I think people appreciate this, is that you're
still stands and is very valid.
That doesn't justify
what you did was you conflated credentials with qualifications. Two completely different things, right? They typically interplay the same categorical conversations that we have about politics, but they are different things. With qualifications,
and I can see what really
the way that we come to that. Wait. I waited until you were done with all of your misinformation.
You can see that if you use the number, like that number that uses text messaging in a public space, that fucking website's wild. Which is the people that long form live stream is the only way to do it. You have a better chance of examining. Somebody recently told me that I was doing great work, and I didn't know if I believed them or not. But you know what? I've read his work, and he has done great work. Like, he has caused a lot of chaos in the political social sphere of Chicago. People hate him. That's a kingly thing, you know. Okay, this is Star in the West. This is only going to go for a couple minutes. Probably 6. This is page 294. But what is it? Crowley at once, with East and West, answers a higher state of consciousness. That a higher consciousness exists is certain. That it is unknowable is certain, unless indeed we can truly unite it with itself.
And that this supreme union is possible, he explains, prevents sense impressions from reaching the sensorium, and there will at least be a better chance of examining the interior. You cannot easily investigate a watch while it is going, nor does the reflection of the sun appear in a lake whose surface is constantly ruffled by wind and rain, by hail and thunderbolt, by the dividing of birds and the falling of rocks. In fact, throughout the whole of Volume 2 of the collected works runs a great river of esoteric mysticism, which in the earlier works was a glittering network of sparkling streams. In time, we find the commandments of Yama and Niyama mentioned, though we must never forget that the conditions of success vary for every individual, and that Crowley might advise one pupil to drink more and another to abstain, he doubts. That extreme virtue is a necessary condition for one who is desirous of attaining this state of bliss. Again, that extreme virtue is a necessary condition for one who is desirous of attaining this state of bliss. In the beginning of the Pentecost, descriptions of asana and pranayama. In strange and painful attitude I sat while he was very rude. With my eyes well fixed on my proboscis, I soon absorbed the yogi gnosis. Okay, this is part 1. Here's part 2. He taught me to steer clear of vices, the giddy waltz, the tuneful aria, those fatal foes of brahmacharya. He said how very mild and nice is one's luck to lop out truth in slices. Chance to chop up cosmic crises. He taught me A, taught me B. He stopped my bachi and my tea. He taught me Y, he taught me Z. He made strange noises in my head. He taught me that he taught me this. He spoke of knowledge, life, and bliss. He taught me this, he taught me that. He grew me mangoes in his hat. He brought him corn, he made good grist of it. And here, my Christian friend, the gist of it. In science and Buddhism, there is a vivid description of pratyahara. Okay, that's part 2. The work is comparable to that of an electrician who should sit for hours with his fingers on a delicately adjusted resistance box, and his eye on the spot of light of galvanometer, charged with the duty of keeping the spot still. At least that it should never move beyond a certain number of degrees, and of recording the more important details of his experiment. Our work is identical in design, though worked with subtler if less complex means. For the finger on the resistance box, we will substitute the will, and its control extends but to the mind. For the eye, we substitute the introspective faculty with its keen observation of the most minute disturbance, while the spot of light is the consciousness itself, the central point of the galvanometer scale and predetermined object. And the other figures in the scale, other objects, connected with the primary by order and degree. Sometimes obviously, sometimes obscurely, perhaps even untraceably, so that we have no real right to predicate their connection. Dharana is mentioned at some length in Pentecost. Okay, that's part 3. Okay, we have now created 5. We've now created 15 clips. And these go straight to the short section on YouTube. They're 49 seconds long. They used to be 5 minutes long. Then they reduced it to 3. Now it's down to 49 seconds because I think people were just spamming shit on the YouTube service. So like, oh, we're creating way too many videos. Okay, this is Dr. Now mentioned of something competitive. Olympus in a nutshell. I have a superior faculty to reasoning, which makes absurd, unthinkable, and wicked true. A great deal that I know is true. In short, the mind is capable. Besides mere ratiocination, of 20 other things as well. The first of which is concentration. Bloom, concentration's midnight flower. After much practice to this end, I gain at last the long-sought power, which you believe you have this hour, but certainly have not, my friend. Of keeping close the mind to one thing at a time, suppose the sun. I gain this reverence to Ganesh, and at that instant comprehend that past and future tenses vanish. What Fichte comprehends, division, thought, wisdom, drop away. I see the absolute identity of the beholder in the vision. Then we come to the advanced stage known as dhyana. In science and Buddhism, Crowley states, in a certain meditation one day I recorded, I was A, consciousness of external things seen behind after my nose had vanished. B, consciousness that I was not conscious of these things, that A and B were simultaneous. Okay, that's part 4. Okay, the new wine. Okay, this is going to be the last part. The silent gulag observers, the real slaves. Or maybe they're the real free ones, right? You just don't know. It doesn't really matter where you are. It's always about your perspective in a way, or your tunnel vision, trying to escape this. What did you call it? A gravity? You sent me some funny meme trying to escape the gravity industrial complex. I can't remember what it said. Okay, this is the last part. I subsequently discovered this peculiar state of consciousness classified in the Abhidhamma, that it is a contradiction in terms I am perfectly aware. To assign any meaning to it is frankly beyond me. I am certain that such a state once existed as I am of anything. This is quite true, for on attaining to such an advanced stage of illumination, language rapidly fails us, and we break through the dialectic veil, enter that life which lies behind, solely expressed by means of symbols. What can I know? Asked Kant, as we have already seen. What is knowledge? Asks the yogi or mystic. His question is the right one of the two. I see a cat, Dr. Johnson says it is a cat. Berkeley says it is a group of sensations. Kankacharya says it is an illusion, an incarnation, or God, according to the hat he has got on. It is talking through. Spencer says it is a mode of the unknowable. But none of them seriously doubt the fact that I exist, that the cat exists. One sees the other. Or Bob Johnson hints, but oh, how dimly is what I now know to be true. No, not necessarily true, but nearer the truth. Huxley goes deeper in his demolition of Descartes. With him I see a cat proves something called the methods, perfect quietude of body and mind, produced and varied in too often vicious ways. Regularization of the breathing is the best known formula. The results are contemptible, we must admit, but only so because empirical. An unwarranted reverence has overlaid the watchfulness which science would have enjoined, and the result is mocking misery, the wreck of a noble study. But what is the fact upon which all agree? That one fact whose knowledge has been since religion began the all-sufficient passport to the doubtfully desirable company? That this that I see a cat is not only an unwarranted assumption, but a lie. That the duality of consciousness ceases suddenly. Once the rate of change has been sufficiently slowed down, so that even for a few seconds the relation of subject and object remains impregnable. This state of relationship is either a very high stage of jhana or samadhi itself, the whole quintessence of the five senses reflecting their full glory on the mirror of their own quiescence. The sun raised the power of quintillion flaming on the surface of an infinite facetless diamond. Okay, we're just going to continue on. Part 6. There is a lake amid the snows, wherein 5 glaciers merge and break. Oh, the deep brilliance of the lake. The roar of ice that cracks and goes crashing within the water. Glows the pale, pure water, shakes and slides the glittering sun through emerald tides, so that faint ripples of young light laugh on the green. Is there a night so still and cold, a frost so chill, that all the glaciers be still? Yet in its peace no frost arise. Over the mountains steady stand, O son of glory in the skies. Lone, above, unmoving, brand thy sigil, thy restless might, the abundant imminence of light. Oh, in the silence, in the dark, in the intangible, unperfumed, in Gossibus abide and mark the mind's magnificence assumed, in the soul's splendor. Here is peace, here earnest of assured release. Here is the formless, all-pervading spirit of the world, rising, fading, into a glory subtler still. Here the intense abode of will closes its gates, and in the hall is solemn sleep of festival. Peace, peace, silence of peace, O visionless abode, cease, cease. Through the dark veil pass on. The veil is rent asunder, the stars pale, the suns vanish, the moon drops, chorus of the spirit stops, but one note swells. Mightiest souls of bard and music maker, rolls over your loftiest crowns the wheel of that abiding bliss. Life flees down corridors of centuries, pillar by pillar, and is lost. Life after life in wild peal cries to the master. He remains and thinks not. Wave-swept sea confront me, nay. Rooms yet the glory through the grave. And in the darkest hours of youth, I yet perceive the essential truth. Know as I know my cause, know and see the absolute identity of the beholder and the vision. In a note note timed Dr. Maudsley explains the state of ecstasy or samadhi as follows. The ecstasy if attained signifies such a standing out, quasi-spasmodic, of a special tract of the brain, as if persisted in, involves the risk of a permanent loss of power, almost in the end a paralysis of the other tracts. Like other bad habits, it grows but what it feeds on, may put the fine and complex coordinated machinery quite out of gear. The ecstatic attains an illumination so called at the expanse of sober reason and solid judgment. Crowley's answer to this. Mr. Kiss would not, I think, wish to contest this view, but rather would argue that if this be the case, it is at least a choice between two evils. Sober reason and solid judgment offer no prize more desirable than death after a number of years, less or greater, while ecstasy can, if the facts stated in the dialogue are accepted, give the joys of all these years in a moment. Rich Yak says concerning this state, when the will succeeds in gaining admission to the imagination and the attention is fixed upon a mortal object, such a case of monoideism becomes the most noble of hallucinations. The nature of the facts in this case admits a prolonged attention for the moral object, far from being exhausted like objects of sense in one single intuition, extends and increases the longer it is dwelt on. Such an object will express itself in the mind, which is generous to give it persistent attention, under symbols which become more and more intense until the soul, all absorbed in them, is sublimely hallucinated and returns to itself full of eloquence, enthusiasm, and courage. Thus Curley again writes of this exalted state. The human thought itself expand. Bright sun of knowledge in me rise. Lead me to those exalted skies, to live and love and understand, paying no price, accepting not the giver and the gift of one, with the receiver, O thou Son of thought, of bliss transcending thought. Rise where division dies, absorb in glory of the glowing orb, self and its shadow, and within the charmed space is not possible unto thought. There in their equilibrium they float, how still, how numb. There must they rest, there will they stay, innocent of the judgment day. Remote from cause, effect retires, X lays its dams and sires. There is no hill, there is no pit, they have no mark to hit. It is enough, closed is the sphere, there is no more to hear. They perish not, they do not thrive, they are at rest, alive. This is the peace which passeth all understanding, conscious communion with the absolute by paths which lie beyond the dialectical. when the consciousness is full of godliness carried outside itself by a sublime alienation, which cannot be made intelligible in words. Okay, that's all I'm going to read for today right now. We left off on page 302. This is a real hero, military strategist. This is In the Dust Jacket by Eliphas Levi. This will be the last thing I read. If you hold anything in the world more than by reason, truth, and justice, if your will be uncertain and vacillating, either in good or evil, if logic alarm you, or the naked truth make you blush, if you are hurt when accepted errors are assailed, condemn this work straight away. Do not read it and die. Okay, I'm gonna have a new room. This has been ESL. I'm gonna change the title actually. Let's just change it to
environment where it's liable to happen. You're saying in all those environments and all those times that it happened, you said something about it?
I'm explaining it to you this way.
Exactly.
Let me answer your question. There's no exactly. No, let me directly answer your question first and foremost. No, I've never been in a situation where someone made a racial joke and I didn't address it. No. I've never been in a situation where someone made a racial joke and I didn't address it. No. Now, I was about to say I might have been lucky to not have been in situations where it was a serious business situation and they did that. You have to cool, right? There's people that I felt might have some racist history, but they never did anything to confirm that in front of me, and I don't really care when I'm conducting business. I'm not going to deep dive and try to figure them out and go search through their social media because I'm there to conduct business and get the fuck on. We're not about to hold hands and eat Thanksgiving dinner together. But they would not make a racial joke about me or mine in front of me. Fuck no.
Yeah, so it's not only racial jokes. I take it that sometimes those people love to like bait you or goad you into a racial conversation, in which time you are there. You are supposed to give your true position, but knowing the environment that you're in,
the goalpost now.
The goalpost does have a remote control and wings right now, but go ahead.
Hello?
Are you answering your phone or us? Like, what you doing?
Oh, no, I let the phone call go because I wanted to
go ahead. Please continue.
These instances. So the question was, I'm sure you've been in a scenario where a white person wanted to goad you into a racial topic, and they obviously are going to have the opposite position of what you held, and they want you to, like, espouse your beliefs on the topic, which you think would be contradictory to their beliefs. But instead of you giving a full-throated endorsement pause of your beliefs, you just act like you haven't considered the topic or you don't have a position on it. Has that ever happened?
And see, this is the difference between a coon and myself. I will stand on my principles in any fucking situation. There's no person that I need to the point where I'm going to compromise my integrity and fuck around and fuck off mine. So no, I've never sat around and hid my true feelings about my African-American brothers and sisters because there was a white person that I felt might not agree with what I was going to say. And I'm going to be politically correct in the way that I articulate because I'm not going to resort to negatory because they said some shit I don't like, but I will articulate my thoughts and feelings and be authentic to who I am as a person, which means I'm not going to sit around and allow them to be racist or go along with racism or not say something to the contrary because that's not who I am. That's the difference between me and the
look, that's fine, but I'm going to just tell you that most black people in those situations, they aren't in the position to stand on all 10 because they got bills to pay, mouths to feed, so on and so forth. And they're going to have to take that one on the chin. And I just take that as a low level, very light form. Well, let me modify my statement by saying most black people who have to swim in those types of waters. I'll say that.
How many black people?
I just take it.
Or you just like.
I just take it.
Hold on,
I'm going off of. I don't know why y'all niggas always get emotional, man. I don't know why y'all niggas get emotional, bro. I'm sharing. You know the reason why I think you're getting emotional? Because it probably applies to you. And you've probably failed on many occasions and you hate yourself about it. And I think, brother, don't hate yourself about that. Just know that you had to do what was right for you, the well-being of your, your posterity.
Where are you getting these numbers from?
Again, so I have a belief based on experience. Now, if you want to invalidate personal experiences,
that's all you have to say.
If you want to invalidate personal experiences to think that they aren't informative about other people's
Have you met most black people?
Are you saying that we do statistical by 100%? Do you think we do statistical analysis? One second, brother. You think we do a statistical analysis by 100% surveys? Is that how you think fucking statistics works?
Right.
G?
Have you met most black people?
Do you know what a sample size is? Do you know what extrapolation is? Do you want me to help you out, brother? Because you're struggling right now. You want me to help you out, brother?
No.
Oh, okay. So don't ask stupid.
I do have a question for you, right?
Hold on. As soon as he
don't ask stupid questions, brother. Well, yeah. As soon as I can finish my point. I'm not done to let you fucking make your stupid points. I actually wanted to talk to Gemini and finish that, if you don't mind. Thank you.
I'm just wondering where you
entitled emotional guy.
From your experience.
Entitled emotional guy. Entitled emotional guy.
Stop with the personal shit. All right.
No, it's okay. These are all deflections.
Oh my God.
Because he wants to avoid
it's not personal. It's an assessment.
Yeah,
he's entitled and he's emotional.
And you're going to stop it. Okay, you're going to stop it.
Can you tell him to stop interrupting? Can you tell him to stop interrupting?
I'm giving you an instruction.
Yeah, I know. I don't care. I'm not like cooning to her because she wants to dominate.
That's cool. Okay, good deal.
Damn it. I understand.
No, I'm sorry. I just look, man. I hate statistics by the air. You know, we get away with a lot of shit.
All you have to say is going off vibes. I'm going on vibes. I don't believe in statistics.
Yeah, personal.
Concrete respect or mine, bro.
Bro. I'm not disrespecting anybody. I'm not disrespecting anybody. I'm not saying to everybody. How about that?
I'm not asking you to bow down. Just
all right. Thank you.
Down to the road, kiss the ring.
I don't know why she's
kiss
like. You feel like I'm disrespectful. She's the one told me shut the fuck up. I didn't tell her nothing. This is the second time at me. I don't even know this woman. So you want to defend her? But it's interesting. But all right, I'm almost done. Let me just finish my point. Let me just finish my point with Gemini.
And he won't say the answer.
Gee, I don't know why you hurt, brother. I've already answered it, right? No, you don't like the answer. You thought you were clever. Did you talk to all black people? And I said, do you think that's how statistics works? You know how sample sizes work? Do you know what fucking normal distribution works? You know what fucking extrapolation is?
Concrete.
The fuck? Anyway.
Concrete.
Anyway.
Crash out sounds like
we'll take a statistics course, brother. Or just read a Wikipedia statistics.
Concrete.
All the blacks that I've met that are swimming in the same water.
How many is that?
Thousands over the years. How about that? Went from, did you talk? I taught you, I educated you on sample sizes, now you're using it. You can't use it against me, though. You can use it to inform yourself, but you won't be using it against me.
You're absolutely full of shit.
Sorry, go ahead, Gemini. My bad, bro. This
is my question, right? Now, I will say this. Because of the industry I'm in, I deal with a lot of situations where I'm the only black person. And it's been like that for a long time, right? Now, we'll concede to the point where... Exactly. So I will concede I'm not going to run around spreading pro-black rhetoric or anything like that. I focus on the business at hand. If something comes up, I will address it. But I'm not going to just push the envelope, right? But from what I'm gathering from you, and this is what the question I have for you, if you're in a scenario and you're dealing with multiple people that are not your race, let's just say they're all white and you're there, and you're there for a reason. They have the upper hand in the situation as far as you need something from them. You are there to see if you can conduct business with them, right? And they were to say something that was racially charged. Would you respond to it? Would you turn a blind eye? Would you play dumb? How would you handle it? Because what I'm gathering from what you said earlier, you're just not going to say anything and allow that to happen, and you think that is okay.
Yeah, this is not an indictment. I've already admitted that we all engage in levels of coonery. I include myself in we all. There's no gotcha. You're trying to disqualify. One second, brother. 1 second. You're trying to disqualify yourself from all, and I don't think it's actually obtaining, right? I think you are included in the all. And I'll tell you the criteria that I'm using. I'm saying I engage in light forms of coonery, and one of them is being silent of racial fucking aggression, and so on and so forth. Now, you can say that I don't believe you. That's all. I just don't believe you.
Look, man, I don't know what I got to do to prove to you, and I'm not trying to.
You don't have to do nothing.
But hear me out. I'm going to tell you the absolute facts. I have never sat by while someone made racially charged comments or racial jokes in my presence. I would address
concrete has.
Again, I'm going to address
I'm sorry. Can I get this clarification? Because you guys been screaming in my ear for like 2 hours. Are you guys talking about TC?
No.
We're talking about
Since you mentioned it, let me go ahead and take off.
I want a break actually, and all those people who work for white people, we only get 15 minutes. So I just wanted to figure out, can you guys just redirect me because you were screaming with some other person? But can I just say this, Gemini, your RWC was so accurate and so precise and on point. Just wanted to say something in the middle of the case.
That's why you came in here to make that argument, because
No.
he was going to get a pat on the back.
No. Can I just
He was going to get a bottle.
Moderators.
He's going to get his name.
I know you don't like
Moderators. No, okay, what I'm just saying to you, concise, your explanation of what the president as far as Kamala Harris qualifications was absolutely on point. And it don't matter what room you said it in. Nowhere it would have been the same result. You won. That was great. And TC, I'm sorry, but this woman that you guys are talking about, you don't fall for anything. As long as it's in white skin, you do not fuck in a White House who cannot compile a complete paragraph without so many grammatical errors that is just crazy. We have somebody who's compilated 2,500 or so lies this term since he's been in office. And that's only, 7 months. They ran it on a loop in the UK. I don't want to just re-argue that point, but you people will fall for anything. And you know what's really crazy? I'm enjoying you calling me an intellectual. A person who, a bougie or whatever you guys say about people who have common sense as well as education. I don't mind it now. At first I was offended, but you can keep on calling me those names because you guys on this side with these arguments are straight fucking idiots. I was letting the doctors listen to the argument, and TC, every one of them, the surgeon and the resident, was saying, if you guys stop cussing, I can leave it on, was saying and calling each other niggas and showing how ignorant and boy and shit that you guys are. I could leave it on more often so these people can hear you. But our surgeons for this morning, the first 2 cases, our cardiologists, the cardiologist said you were on point. You were on point. I had to tell you that, Gemini.
Thank you.
Guys, listen, Gemini was on point. He in everything he said. There was nothing he said that was any way wrong, any way self-serving, any way manipulative, any way disassociative of the facts, and was in any way subjective. It was all objective truth. If you listen to him talk, he's always telling the truth. Don't what he says ever.
So I guess what you're trying to say is that she does have a demonstrated track record in public policy, right? She does.
No, what I'm saying is you came into this room to make these arguments so that you can get laws and this praise. This is what you did it for because you seek validation. I'm happy to go into spaces where I don't get validation. My arguments are informing you.
You're breaking up.
What you listed were not qualifications. What you live for things.
The same qualifications I started to go over today are the same ones that Lou cut me off to hit you with yesterday. I let Lou have the moment. I would have done the same thing to you. You lost both times. I will go into any space and debate you. That's not a problem. I was debating you in IGB. I had no problem with that. Lou cut me off because he wanted to have the conversation. It's his room. I let him have the conversation with you. And he cooked you. You were in the pot either way. Like, so what are you talking about?
You don't understand the difference. I said it now 4 times. It's just not resonating.
Lou cooked the fuck out of him yesterday.
No, Lou conceded to exactly what I was saying. He listed Kamala Harris's credentials and he listed Erica Kirk's credentials.
And everybody agreed that Kamala was
He basically admitted that these are all exactly the point that I was making. But since you guys don't have comprehension skills, you're thinking that qualifications are qualifications when they're not.
You said put a brain emoji chat if you agree with me. Put a gun emoji in the chat if you agree with TC. And there was 90% brains in that response. You got cooked.
No, it wasn't 90. It wasn't 90%. It was 100%. It was 100%. You won 100%. I didn't get any votes. One mic on this guy.
Okay. I mean, you could try to do whatever you want as far as not being accurate about the truth, but everything I gave is accurate to what happened yesterday. If Lou was in here, say the exact same shit, and you know it. I don't have to make up a lie in another room. I can tell you what really happened.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing American voters.
Stay in a skillet. That's your job. Stay in a skillet.
It's a good thing American voters don't credit your qualifications for who they consider to be qualified for.
That's a good thing, K-Lake.
It's a damn good thing that his qualifications only exist in his mind.
You know what? My only thing, you really, like, this is what blows my mind because you're very articulate. But then you say the things like, I think Erica Kirk is more qualified than Kamala Harris. Like, are you saying that for shock value or would you truly vote that way?
Well, we'd have to see, right? Kamala Harris would have to run against Erica Kirk. They would have to compete for ideas, and they would have to compete on a myriad of different. So I'm not saying that I would vote for Erica Kirk right off but I'm talking about qualifications. Yeah, I think Erica Kirk, the fact that her positions are faith informed, the fact that she's been able to contend for her positions, the fact that she's been able to co-lead an organization that has the generation of leaders and they value her opinion and they actually support her position on policy issues 100%. I think that gives her a lot of questions for the president. Now, whether or not she can contend.
I consider myself to be center-left, and I like Indians regardless of their smell and hygiene, but
Omar's house no good?
Yeah, you may have to close the app and then reopen it. We can't hear you.
You accord with the way things are. Compassionate toward yourself. You reconcile all beings in the world. 68. The best athlete wants his opponent at his best. The best general enters the mind of his enemy. The best businessman serves the communal good. The best leader follows the will of the people. All of them embody the virtue of non-competition. Not that they don't love to compete. The best businessman serves the communal good. The best leader follows the will of the people. All of them embody the virtue of non-competition. Not that they don't love to compete, but they do it in the spirit of play. In this, they are like children, and in harmony with the Tao. 69. The generals have a saying: rather than make the first move, it is better to wait and see. Rather than advance an inch, it is better to retreat a yard. This is called going forward without advancing, pushing back without using weapons. There is no greater misfortune than underestimating your enemy. Underestimating your enemy means thinking that he is evil. Thus, you destroy your three treasures and become an enemy yourself. When two great forces oppose each other, the victory will go to the one that knows how to yield. 70. My teachings are easy to understand and easy to put into practice. Yet your intellect will never grasp them, and if you try to practice them, you'll fail. My teachings are older than the world. How can you grasp their meaning? If you want to know me, look inside your heart. 71. Not knowing is true knowledge. Presuming to know is a disease. First realize that you are sick. Then you can move toward health. The master is her own physician. She has healed herself of all knowing. Thus, she is truly whole. 72. When they lose their sense of awe, people turn to religion. When they no longer trust themselves, they begin to depend upon authority. Therefore, the master steps back so that people won't be confused. He teaches without a teaching, so that people will have nothing to learn. 73. The Tao is always at ease. It overcomes without competing, answers without speaking a word, arrives without being summoned, accomplishes without a plan. Its net covers the whole universe, and though its meshes are wide, it doesn't let a thing slip through. 74. If you realize that all things change, there is nothing you will try to hold on to. If you aren't afraid of dying, there is nothing you can't achieve. Trying to control the future is like trying to take the master carpenter's place. When you handle the master carpenter's tools, chances are that you'll cut your hand. 75. When taxes are too high, people go hungry. When the government is too intrusive, people lose their spirit. Act for the people's benefit. Trust them. Leave them alone. 76. Men are born soft and supple. Dead, they are stiff and hard. Plants are born tender and pliant. Dead, they are brittle and dry. Thus, whoever is stiff and inflexible is a disciple of death. Whoever is soft and yielding is a disciple of life. The hard and stiff will be broken. The soft and supple will prevail. 77. As it acts in the world, the Tao is like the bending of a bow. The top is bent downward. The bottom is bent up. It adjusts excess and deficiency so that there is perfect balance. It takes from what is too much and gives to their power. Go against the direction of the Tao. They take from those who don't have enough and give to those who have far too much. The master can keep giving because there is no end to her wealth. She acts without expectation, succeeds without taking credit, and doesn't think that she is better than anyone else. 78. Nothing in the world is as soft and yielding as water. Yet for dissolving the hard and inflexible, nothing can surpass it. The soft overcomes the hard. The gentle overcomes the rigid. Everyone knows this is true, but few can put it into practice. Therefore, the master remains serene in the midst of sorrow. Evil cannot enter his heart. Because he has given up helping, he is people's greatest help. True words seem paradoxical. 79. Failure is an opportunity. If you blame someone else, there's no end to the blame. Therefore, the master fulfills her own obligations and corrects her own mistakes. She does what she needs to do and demands nothing of others. 80. If a country is governed wisely, don't waste time inventing labor-saving machines. Since they dearly love their homes, they aren't interested in travel. There may be a few wagons and boats, but these don't go anywhere. There may be an arsenal of weapons, but nobody ever uses them. People enjoy their food, take pleasure in being with their families, spend weekends working in their gardens, delight in the doings of the neighborhood. And even though the next country is so close that people can hear its roosters crowing and its dogs barking, they are content to die of old age without ever having gone to see it. 81. True words aren't eloquent. Eloquent words aren't true. Wise men don't need to prove their point. Men who need to prove their point aren't wise. The master has no possessions. The more he does for others, the happier he is. The more he gives to others, the wealthier he is. The Tao nourishes by not forcing, by not dominating. The master leads. Tao Te Ching can be translated as the book of the imminence of the way, or the book of the way and of how it manifests itself in the world, or simply the book of the way. Since it is already well known by its Chinese title, I have let that stand. About Lao Tzu, its author, there's practically nothing to be said. He may have been an older contemporary of Confucius, 551 to 479 BCE, and may have held the position of archive keeper in one of the petty kingdoms of the time. But all the information that has come down to us is highly suspect. Even the meaning of his name is uncertain. The most likely interpretations, the old master, or more picturesquely, the old boy. Like an Iroquois woodsman, he left no traces. All he left us is his book, the classic manual on the art of living, written in a style of gem-like lucidity, radiant with humor and grace, and large-heartedness and deep wisdom, one of the wonders of the world. People usually think of Lao Tzu as a hermit, a dropout from society, dwelling serenely in some mountain hut, unvisited except perhaps by the occasional traveler arriving from a 60s joke to ask, what is the meaning of life? But it's clear from his teachings that he deeply cared about society, if society means the welfare of one's fellow human beings. His book is, among other things, a treatise on the art of government, whether of a country or of a child. The misperception may arise from his insistence on wei wu wei, literally, doing, not doing, which has been seen as passivity. Nothing could be further from the truth. A good athlete can enter a state of body awareness in which the right stroke or the right movement happens by itself, effortlessly, without any interference of the conscious will. This is a paradigm for non-action, the purest and most effective form of action. The game plays the game. The poem writes the poem, we can't tell the dancer from the dance. Less and less do you need to force things, until finally you arrive at non-action. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. Nothing is done because the doer has wholeheartedly vanished into the deed. The fuel has been completely transformed into flame. This nothing is in fact everything. It happens when we trust the intelligence of the universe in the same way that an athlete or a dancer trusts the superior intelligence of the body. Hence Lao Tzu's emphasis on softness. Softness means the opposite of rigidity and is synonymous with suppleness, adaptability, endurance. Anyone who has seen a Tai Chi or Aikido master doing not doing will know how powerful this softness is. Lao Tzu's central figure is a man or woman whose life is in perfect harmony with the way things are. This is not an idea. It is a reality.
Hey, Rondell!
I've seen it. The master has mastered nature.
Hey, BB!
In the sense of conquering it, but of becoming it. In surrendering to the Tao, in giving up all concepts, judgments, and desires, her mind has grown naturally compassionate. She finds, deep in her own experience, the central truths of the art of living, which are paradoxical only on the surface, that the more truly solitary we are, the more compassionate we can be. The more we let go of what we love, the more present our love becomes. The clearer our insight into what is beyond good and evil, the more we can embody the good. Until finally she is able to say, in all humility, I am the Tao, the truth, the life. The teaching of the Tao Te Ching is moral in the deepest sense. Unencumbered by any concept of sin, the master doesn't see evil as a force to resist, but simply as an opaqueness, a state of self-absorption, which is in disharmony with the universal process, so that, as with a dirty window, the light can't shine through, and the selfish. Thus, the master is available to all people and doesn't reject anyone. He is ready to use all situations and doesn't waste anything. This is called